Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so good morning to all of
Yes,
you.
sir.
Welcome to this class. This is NTSC through English, dated August 8th. We had sent some questions through WhatsApp, you must have seen. Let us see those questions. I'm not sure when it was sent, maybe it was sent quite some time back. Some of them was sent in the last week. So whatever be the case, these are the questions which we have taken from your past question papers. Let us now try to understand and try to solve these questions. I would request Advaita to read the first question. Advaita, are you able to, can you read it? Advaita is there.
Sir?
Can you read the first question? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. The clock is set to show correct time at 9 a.m. The clock gains 10 minutes in a day, which is the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next.
Okay, let me read it once again. A clock is set to show correct time at 9 a.m. The clock gains 10 minutes in a day. What is the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next? Next day, actually. This is 2 p.m. next day. That is the meaning. Okay, right. Now, see, these clocks, 'cause these days we have digital clocks. But in the olden days, we had the analog clock. One pendulum is, dancing left and right. So we used to have. And this clock, these pendulums are made of metals. And when due to temperatures, sometimes it will gain some minutes or some seconds or lose some seconds depending on the weather conditions. Those days, these are all olden days. But today, all the clocks are very intact and it's perfect. It is perfect 10. If it is 10 o'clock means it's 10 o'clock. So it's not a problem. So that is the basis of this particular question. A clock is set to show correct time at 9 a.m. today. Let us say 9 a.m. today it shows and it is exactly 9 a.m. The clock gains 10 minutes in a day. It means in one full day, let us say tomorrow 9 a.m., the clock will show instead of 9 a.m., it will show 9:10. It will show. So it gains means it is gaining 10 minutes in a day. What is the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next day? What is the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next day? So by 2 p.m., what is the total time it gained? That you have to calculate. Today 9 a.m. it is right time and every one day it gains 10 minutes. What is the total minutes it gains at 2 p.m. tomorrow? So how do we calculate? That is, we calculate it gains 10 minutes in 24 hours. Yes? Am I correct? In one day means it's 24 hours. It gains 10 minutes in 24 hours. But how many hours from today 9 a.m. to next tomorrow 2 p.m.? How many hours passed? From today's 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow. So 9 to 9, 24 and then onwards 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5 you have to add, that is 29 hours, almost 29 hours. So what is this, how much it comes? Can anybody say what is the answer? 10 by 24 into 29. So almost approximately 12 minutes. It gains 12 minutes. Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It
Yes,
gains
sir.
12 minutes. But the question asks, so what is the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next day? What is the true time? The clock is indicating 2 p.m. What is the true time? Will it be less than 2 p.m. or more than 2 p.m.?
150.
Yeah, is it 150 or 148? Hello, we said up to 2 o'clock it gains 12 minutes. So it has gained 12 minutes and some seconds also comes.
149, sir.
So it's 148, 149 is the answer. Okay, they will give the option. You have to find the right option. So 1 hour, 148, and some seconds will be the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next day. Are you with us, Anirudh?
Sir, I don't understand this question.
You are not able to understand. Okay. A clock is set to show correct time at 9 a.m. Today, 9 a.m., it is showing the correct time. What the actual time is 9 a.m., what the clock shows is also 9 a.m. But it gains 10 minutes in a day. Every day it gains 10 minutes. That means tomorrow 9 a.m., instead of true time 9 a.m., it will show 9:10. That is the meaning. Now the question is, what is the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next day? So 2 p.m. next day till 2 p.m. next day, totally 29 hours from today's 9 a.m. So the number of minutes it gains is 10 divided by 24 into 29. That is equal to 12 minutes it will gain. By gaining 12 minutes, it shows 2 p.m. means the actual time will be less than that. That is 148. Clear or still confusing?
Yes, sir. I understood, sir.
Okay, maybe now if you take one or two, see, unfortunately in our class, unlike your school, we will not have same type of questions, more than one. And because here, that when we take up the question paper, we will discuss. So that is the thing, because I will not have another question here of similar nature. This, gaining and losing and all we will. But you should understand the concept. Have you understood the concept, Neha? Are you able to understand the concept? Or is it little confusing?
Yes, sir, I can understand.
You are not able to understand. Okay. Who has understood? Can somebody explain? Always a student teacher would be better than the teacher. Who wants to become a student teacher? Anirudh, now you are having understood, can you explain that?
Okay, sir.
Try.
Sir, the clock is showing 9. It's the correct time is 9 a.m. today. So the clock is 9. The clock. Sorry.
I think there is some problem with your audio. Let me explain once again. The clock is showing right time today. That is, it shows 9 a.m. The actual time is also 9 a.m. But the clock is gaining 10 minutes every day. So tomorrow at 9 o'clock it will gain 10 minutes, means instead of true time of 9 a.m. it will show 9 a.m. 10 minutes. Okay. The second the question asked is, what is the true time when the clock indicates 2 p.m. next day? That is 2 p.m. next day will means 29 hours from 9 a.m. today. So in 29 minutes it will gain 12 minutes. So obviously the true time will be less than 12 minutes from 2. So it is 1 hour 48 minutes. Maybe when we take up some more questions on this pattern, you will understand. But you people are not able to cover up, because you may be doing the same kind of questions for another half an hour in your class. But whereas here we may not do that. Okay. Next question. Who wants to read the next question? Neha, can you read it?
Yes, sir. Suman is twice as old as Tanya was when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. Combined age of Suman and Tanya is 112. How old is Suman now?
Okay, I read it again. Suman is twice as old as Tanya was when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. Combined age of Suman and Tanya is 112. How old is Suman now? Let us try to make two equations. Combined age of Suman and Tanya is 112. Let me say Suman's age is S and Tanya's age is T. So S plus T is equal to 112. S plus T equal to 112. Any confusion on this? All of you agree?
Yes, sir.
No objection. Okay. Now, second one is clear. We wanted to make one more equation. Let's see how it can be done. Suman is twice as old as Tanya was when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. What does it mean? So let's say Tanya's age is T now, and as old as Tanya. Suman is twice as old as Tanya was when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. Okay. So Suman is elder. By that token, we know Suman is elder, and Suman is twice. Okay. So that is Suman was as old as Tanya. So when Suman was T, he was twice. What is that? How do we make another? Suman is twice as old as Tanya. Okay, some years back, Tanya was, when Suman was as old as. Okay, some years back, Suman was some age, whatever be the age. Let us say X years back. So it is S minus X. X years back, Suman was S minus X. S minus X. He was twice as old as Tanya was. That is T minus X. And X years back, Tanya was T minus X. When Suman was as old as Tanya is now. Suman is twice as old as Tanya was when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. Okay, this is another equation. S minus X equal to 2 into T minus X. Can we solve and find out what is S and what is X? Is it possible? Because here we have got three variables. We have got S, we have got T, and we have got X. Whenever you have three variables, you need three equations. So we got only two equations. So let us try to form the another equations. Another equation, when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. So X is equal. So Suman was as old, S minus X is equal to T. Is it correct? Is the third equation what I have made is correct? I repeat, Suman is twice as old as Tanya was when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. The combined age of Suman and Tanya is 112. How old is Suman now? Now Suman's age I am keeping it as S. Tanya's age I am keeping it as T. So S plus T is equal to 112. There is no dispute in that. Everybody agreed. Right. Then some years back, that is X years back, Suman was S minus X. And Tanya was T minus X. So S minus X, at that time, Suman is twice as old as Tanya was. That is 2 into T minus X. That is also correct. Now, we have three unknowns, so we need one more equation. Suman was, when Suman was as old as Tanya is now. So Suman, some X years back, whatever was the age of Suman X years back, that is S minus X, is equal to present age of Tanya, equal to T. Now we have got three equations. Can you solve these three equations, find what is S and T? So, let us solve the second equation first. S minus X is equal to 2T minus 2X. Okay. So, this will become, you bring all the X on the one side, all the S and T on the one side. S minus 2T, so 2T is equal to minus 3x. Yes, correct? Am I correct? S minus 2t is equal to minus 3x. Right. So instead of t, we can put s minus x. So s minus 2 into s minus x, because t is equal to s minus x, we can put that equal to minus 3x. So now again you solve this, what happened? Yes minus 2s,
Sir,
yes, 2,
sir, s minus 2t is equal to minus 2x.
yes, no, yes
Minus
minus,
x,
yes,
sir.
sorry, yes minus,
S minus 2t is equal to minus x, sir.
1 second, let me see, I made a mistake. Yes minus 2t is equal to minus x, correct, you are correct, good. Who is that?
Samita Sri, sir.
Samita Sri, correct. So s minus 2t is equal to minus x, correct, that's right. Okay, let me give some gap, then you will understand. So s minus 2t is equal to minus x, here I have to put x. Okay, so that is s minus 2s plus 2x is equal to minus x. So now you can bring everything on the one, x on the one side, s on the one side, that is minus s is equal to, you bring this thing minus 3x. Is it correct? Minus s equal to,
Yes, sir.
minus s is equal to minus 3x. So s equal to 3x. S equal, what is asked? How old is Suman now? How old is Suman now? S equal to 3x. Can we find from this s equal to 3x? So if you put that in here, I think the only number we have is here. Here we have the number. So s equal to 3x, if you put s equal to 3x, okay. In which one we will put s equal to 3x? In the third one, we put s equal to 3x. So that is 3x minus x is equal to t. That is equal to 2x is equal to t. 2x is equal to t. 2x is equal to t. So t equal to x. 2 equal to x, correct. So you can here you can see, okay. So t is equal to 2x, correct. S equal to how much? S equal to 3x. So you put it here. That is, in the first equation you put it that s equal to 3x and t is equal to 2x. So the equal to
Sir, x is equal to 22.4, sir.
Wait, I think then we are wrong. It cannot become 22.4. So divided by 5 means 22.4 we are getting. I think somewhere we have made a mistake. What the mistake? I do not know. Anyway, let us let us skip this question right now. Let's not waste our time now. I will just do it and then send it in the WhatsApp because I don't know what mistake we made. We'll straight away go into the other things, other questions. Okay? Otherwise, it will be we'll be wasting our time. So third question. Can you read third question? Any one of you? Samita, you can read?
Yes, sir. 60% of A is equal to 20% of B and B is equal to X percentage of A. Then value of X is
60% of A is equal to 20% of B. What does it mean? It means, can you make it in the uniform, in the equation form? 0.6 A is equal to 20% of B means 0.2 B. Correct? So from this we can find A is equal to B by 3. Is it B by 3? Am I correct? 60% of A, 0.6 A is equal to 0.2 B. So A is equal to B by 3. Okay, this is one we have. Then B is X% of A. B is equal to, so that is B is equal to X% of A means what? X divided by 100 into A. That is into A means that is, okay, let A. B is equal to, so now you substitute instead of B, X by 100 into A. Let us substitute that. So A is equal to B, sorry, A is equal to B by 3. Instead of B, I am going to substitute X, sorry, B equal to, X divided by 100 into A. Is it correct? I am not very sure. No, B equal to so A equal, sorry, B is, and B is X% of A. Okay, X% of A. Okay, then A is equal to B by 3. A is equal to B, I have written, divided by 3. So that is B divided by 3. Okay, right. Now A gets cancelled. So X is equal to A gets cancelled 300,
sir. X is equal to.
No, X%, no, X cannot be 300. Now A cancelled, those, then 1 is equal to cancel X into, yeah, it comes 300%. No, but this different, this thing we made. 60% of A is equal to 20% of B, correct? B is equal to X% of A. B is equal to X% of A, okay? XA, that is XA by 100. XA, but no, 1 minute. Here we will write B is equal to XA divided by 100. Okay. Then let's go to the A equal to B by 3, no? A equal to B by 3, correct. A equal to B by 3. A equal to B is what? XA by 100, B by 3. So this is by 3. By 3. So A gets cancelled. So so 1 is equal to X by 100 divided by 3. That is 3 is equal to X by 100. 3 is equal to X by 100. Yeah, X equal 300%, correct. You are correct. So 300% is the answer. So what are the numbers then?
Sir, I didn't even understand this question, sir.
Yeah. 1 minute. Let me find out. X equal to 300% of A. So it means if B is equal to 6, 300%, if A equal to 2, that is the meaning. 300% of it, A equal to 2, A equal to B equal to 6. That is then 60% of A. 60% of A is 1.2 is equal to 60% of A is 1.2 is equal to 20% of, yes, correct. Yeah, B equal to 300. Now it comes. Now let us take from the answer we will go, then we will understand. Let us say A equal to 2. B equal to 6. Let us say A equal to, if you take A equal to 2, we are talking about X percent of A is B. If A is 2 and X is 300%, how much is A? B. If A is 2 and X is 300%, how much is B? Is it 6? I repeat the question once again. 60% of A is equal to 20% of B. And B is equal to X percent of A. Then value of X is. Now forget about whatever I have written in the first row. I am saying from by calculation we got X equal to 300%. Let us assume that is correct. If X equal to 300% and if A is equal to 2, what is B from this?
600%, sir.
No, what is B? Not 600. If X equal to A equal to 2 and X is 300%, what is B? 3 times. Percent means 3 times. You are not able to understand. I think we will close.
Sir, the value of X is 3, sir.
Value of X is 300%. That is 3 times. That is the meaning. Times means 3 times. 300% means is 3 times. So B equal to 3 times of A. When A equal to 2, B has to be 6. Yes or no? No,
Yes,
let's put it this way. Let's put. I think this percentage will be little confusing. Suppose again that is the, I think we had that idli kadai, no, idli story. Same idli story we will repeat now. Then you will understand. We will take Samita Sri as the example. Samita Sri used to take 4 idlis for breakfast. One day, listen to this story carefully. Samita Sri used to take 4 idlis. One day, her mother shouted at her for some mischief she has done. So, next day, her intake came down to 3. So, what is the reduction? How many idlis it has come down?
1 idli.
One idli. From 4, it has come to 3. 1 idli. What is the percentage reduction? But the formula says, no, you can keep this formula for your understanding. New minus old divided by old into 100. Then we have to put 100 here. 100 divided by old. So, what is the new? New is, she is taking 3 idlis. That is new. Old is 4 idlis. 4 idlis. And into 100, put 100. That x I am putting as into. I think I should put small x. Yeah. Into 100. New minus old into 100 divided by old. What is old? 4. Isn't
4,
it?
sir.
So this is the percentage increase. This is the percentage increase. That is 1 by 4 into 100
25, sir.
minus 1 by 4 into 100. Why minus? Because it is coming down. It is a reduction. Into 100. That is equal to 25%. Minus 25%. Why it is minus? Because it is coming down. Understood? So I repeat this question. Samita Sri used to take 4 idlis in a day for breakfast. One day her mother shouted at her and next day she took only 3 idlis. So the number of idlis it has come down is 4. From 4 it has come down to 3. The reduction is 1 idli. Now the question is how much is the percentage reduction? From 4 it has come down to 3. That is equal to 25% reduction. That means minus 25%. How did we get it? How did we get this? New minus old into 100 divided by old. New is 3 idlis. Old is 4 idlis. So 3 minus 4 into 100 divided by old. That is 4. So that is equal to minus 25%. So this is one part of the story. The second part of the story is, so Samita Sri's father got worried because the daughter consumed less idlis on the second day. So he went and cajoled Samita Sri, and third day Samita Sri again took 4 idlis. From 3 it has gone back to 4. So what is the number of idli increased? How much is increased? From 3 it has gone to 4. So 1 idli increase compared to previous day. From 3 it has gone to 4. What is the percentage increase? From 3 it has gone to 4. So the increase is 1. So new minus old divided by old into 100. Here new is 4, old is 3. 4 minus 3, new minus old divided by old into 100. So that is equal to how much comes? What is this? 4 minus 3 into 100 by 3. That is 1 by 3 into 100. How much it is? 33.3%. So here in the first day it has come down by 1. So your reduction was minus 25%. The second day and the second day it come down. The third day it has gone up by 1, but the percentage increased 33%. How is it possible? See, one absolute value is 1 in both the cases, but in the second case the percentage is more because the base figure is small for the increase. The base figure for the small is for the increase is 3, whereas in the first case the base figure is 4. That is exactly is the reason why it is different. The values are different. Okay, let me give one more example. Suppose you buy. Okay, we will put it this way. There was the corona cases in the month of, let us say, now it's August, no, or July, June is 10,000. Corona case in the month of June is 10,000. In the month of July, it is 8,000. So what is the reduction? Month of June, it is 10,000. Month of July, it is 8,000. So what is the reduction?
2,000.
2,000.
2,000 is the reduction. What is the percentage reduction? From 10,000 it has come down to 8,000. So the reduction is 2,000. Percentage reduction is equal to 2,000 divided by the original value, 10,000 into 100. So how much it comes? 2,000 divided by 10,000 into 100. That will give you how much it comes? 20% is the reduction.
Minus 20%.
Yeah, minus 20% is the reduction. But from July to August, let us say from 8,000 it has gone to 9,000. From July to August, from 8,000 it has gone to 9,000. So what is the increase?
1,000, sir.
So what is the
1,000,
percentage
sir.
increase? What is the percentage increase? 1,000 divided by 8,000 into 100. 1,000 divided by 8,000 because the base figure is 8,000 here. So that is 100. How much it comes? It comes to 12.5%. So you have to find what is the base figure. No, if I have to tell you 1 minute, one more example I will tell you, a glaring example. We all know Reliance Industries. Have you heard of this company, Reliance Industries?
Yes, sir.
The turnover of Reliance Industries is 1 lakh crore. And they say if it grows by 10% means how much it should be the turnover? Suppose if it has to grow by 10%, how much should be the turnover? Now it is 1 lakh crore. How much it should go up so that the growth rate will be 10%? 10% more than 1 lakh is how much? 1,10,000. Am I correct? From 10,000, for 1 lakh, if it has to go up by 10%, it becomes 1.1 lakh, 1,10,000 crores it has to grow. Okay, some other company is its turnover is only 100 crores. If it has to grow 10%, how much it has to grow? Just by 10 crore. Just by 10 crore, from 100 if it goes to 110, then we will say that is 10% growth. Whereas for Reliance, only when it grows 10,000 crore, we can say it has grown by 10%. Why? Because the base figure there is 1 lakh, whereas the base figure for this company is only 100 crores. So this you have to keep this in mind. Whenever you see something in the newspaper, a particular company grows by 10%. So let us put this way, like Reliance grows by 10%, whereas some company, X company has grown by 20%. But Reliance had grown by 10% means from 1 lakh it has grown by 10% means it has grown by 10,000 crore extra. Whereas this company, if it grows by 20%, it's only 20 crore extra. So this kind of understanding you need as far as percentages are concerned. I think little confusing for you, for some of you. Maybe we will take this at a later point of time. Once again, with some more questions, I will take it. We will go to the next next slide. Okay, this is verbal analogy. We will look at this. Percentages, maybe we will come back with some more questions and slides, because I don't have it ready made now. We'll look at. So here they have given bee is to hive. It's a verbal analogy. Bee and hive. What is hive? Have you heard of hive? It is a home of...
தேன் கூடு.
Yeah, it's a home of bee is called hive. It is a house of bee or home of bees. So similarly, they have given 4 options. You have to find out which is the right option, which has got a similar relationship. Horse, carriage; rider, bicycle; sheep, flock; cow, barn. Which is the correct option? They are asking. You have to make a sentence using the whatever is given. Hive is a dwelling place of bee, or hive is a home of bees. You can keep it like that. Similarly, can you say carriage is a home of horse? Can we say that? Can we say carriage is home of horse? No, because
sir.
carriage is driven by horse. That would be the right sentence. So then bicycle is home of rider? No, bicycle is driven by rider. Flock,
Sir, cow barn.
cow barn is the right answer. Flock and sheep. Sheep is one, flock is a group of sheep. If there are a group of sheep, that is called flock. So that is also not correct. And the 4th one, cow is to barn. That is, barn is a place where the cows are, it's equivalent to cow shed. Cow shed is the home of cow. So in another term for that is called barn, cow barn, or even I think it is called horse barn also. For horse also they call it as barn, I think. So this is how you should find the relationship between what is given and which is closer to the relationship in the answer. You have to find, like, you have to make a sentence out of the relationship and see which is the option which we can make the similar sentence. That you have to find. Read the next one. Anirudh, can you read that? Next one, 7th question.
Yes, sir. Bee hive.
No, that we have finished.
So 7th. Okay. If Rajesh is coded as SZKDTG, then Pranesh is coded as.
Okay. So you have to find what is the relationship between Rajesh, RAJESH, and SZKDTG. And similarly, you have to find how Pranesh can be coded. So here R is there. So S has come. The next alphabet has come. So the next alphabet for P is Q.
The previous letter, sir.
No, the next alphabet for P is Q. So Q has come in all the 4 options. Right. A is there. Second one is A. So the previous thing has come. Z previous thing. So what is the previous alphabet for R?
Sir.
What is the previous alphabet for R?
Sir, S.
Q, sir.
Q. Q is the answer. So in that, option B is out. We have option A, C and D. Okay. Then J. J is, then here it is K. HIJK. Next one. So after A, what should come?
B, sir.
B. So which is the option has got QQB? Sorry,
A and C,
Option A
sir.
and C, sir.
sorry, Q, no,
A
no.
and C, sir.
Which one? Sorry. QB is the A. A is the right answer. Okay. So you have to find out like that. So one need not look at all the six letters, six alphabets in the word. You do it two or three, you will get the right answer.
Sir, excuse me, sir. In C also it is QQB only, sir.
QQBI. Oh, correct. C also QQB. So we cannot conclude now. QQB is there in C also. You are correct. So now we will go to the next one. So J is K, then E is D. E is D. Becomes D. That is one letter. So before N you have to get M and O. So M has to come, isn't that? So there again you have QQBM DTG and here QQBM FRI. So again A and C are there in the race. Right. Next one you go to S. S has become T. The next letter is, so T has to come. I think here in this D is I think wrong, I think. So S and T has come. That is fifth one. S and T. Here fifth one is E. Yes, T.
F,
F
sir.
has to come. So the answer is what? Which one?
Sir, the
Answer.
C,
First
sir.
option, sir.
Not first. I think C.
Sir, C.
C is the option. Yeah. C is the option because in this case, out of the 7 alphabet, we need to look at the matching for 5. But most of the cases, even if you look at the matching for 2 or 3, you may get the answer. But in this case, I think it takes time. Sometimes what you can do, you can check the matching for first 2 alphabets, first 2 letters, and then go to the last 2 or last 1. There also you will get it correct. For example, in this case, Rajesh, H is the last letter. H becomes G. G, H, I. So one previous one. So here Pranesh, H is there. The previous one is what? G. G has to come. So where the G is coming? In the
Sir, in A, G is coming, but C, G is not coming, sir.
No. I think it's getting confused now. 1 minute. BM. H, E, F, G, H. So G is one letter before. The sixth one, okay, 7th is not there in Rajesh. Sixth one you see. Sixth one is H after G, H. So likewise here S, T. Where T comes, that will be the answer, I think.
Sir, C is the answer, sir.
C is the answer, huh? How
Yes,
you are
sir,
able to
sir.
see? Okay. Yeah, one letter before S, R, S, R, S, correct. C is the answer. Q, Q, B, M, F, R, I. So in this case, I think we need to check with some 5 or 6 alphabets, 6 letters. But in many cases, you do it 2 or 3, you will get the answers. Okay. Go to the next question. Can somebody read this? Samita, can you read the next question? Question 8.
Yes, sir. Some glues are not igloos. All igloos are not ugly. The conclusion is option A, many glues are ugly. Option B, some glues are ugly. Option C, many glues are not ugly. Option D, none.
Okay.
None.
So this is actually a separate chapter. We need to go some concepts before answering this. But I will tell you some shortcuts. See, there are 2 statements they have given. Some glues are not igloos. All igloos are not ugly. They have given. Here, for both the statement, the igloo is common. In the first one, igloo is there. The second one also, igloo is there. So, in the answer, the igloo should not come. First point. In the answer, the igloo should not come. Fortunately, in all the 3 answers, igloo is not there. Okay. And in the answer, you have to get the other terms like glue and ugly should come. So, obviously, here glue and ugly has come in all the 3, this one. And if one of the statements starts with some or many, see, in this kind of problem, some and many means the same. It does not mean different things. if one of the statement is some, the answer also has to become some or many. Again here, all the three are has got some or many, because we are not differentiating between some and many, so all the three has got some or many. So again we cannot do it. But another rule is, if both the statements are negative statement, then conclusion is not possible. Is the both the statements are negative? Are both negative? The given two statements, are both the statements are negative?
No, sir, one is positive and one is negative.
No, in both the cases you have got not, no?
Both are negative,
So
sir.
both of negative means, this is one of the rule. If both are negative, then conclusion is not possible. So answer is none. So there are many rules are there. Once we take up the chapter, we will come back. But if both are negative, conclusion is not possible. If both are starting with some or many, then also conclusion is not possible. And the term which is repeated in the both the statements should not come in the answer. Like that, there are about 7 or 8 conditions are there. Here, the condition where both are not negative, if both are negative, conclusion is not possible. That is the condition which can be used here. So by that condition, the answer for 8th question is D. Okay, good. Right. Okay, I think this question, this, I don't know, this I had sent by WhatsApp, I think, these questions. Some of you have answered it, I think. So let's go straight away to 7th question. 7th question you can go. Can anybody read the 7th question? Arshida, you are there? Can you read
Yes,
it?
sir.
Yeah, read it.
If A, B, C, D, E are 5 consecutive odd numbers, what is their mean?
What is their
A.
mean means what is their average. That is the mean here refers to average. Okay, average, mean are same. Average or mean, because it is interchangeably used. So what is the mean of these numbers? If A, B, C, D are 5 consecutive odd numbers. Let us take the odd numbers can be, let's say 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. Let us, for some one example we'll take. These are the 5 odd numbers, consecutive odd numbers we have taken. Can you find the average of these 5 numbers? What do? You add all the 5 numbers and divide by 5. How much you are getting? Average is equal to, add all the 5 and divide by 5.
35, sir.
35 divided by 5 is how much?
7, sir.
7. Okay. So in this case, yeah, let us say A is 3, B is 5, C is 7, D is 9, E is 11. The average comes 7. So average is equal to C. But option, there is no C. But can we say
A plus 4,
A
sir.
plus, can we say this is equal to A plus 4? Can we say that?
Yes, sir.
Because A is 3 and you add 4, that becomes 7. So A plus 4 is the answer, okay, for this question. And the second, go to next question. Who wants to read? Next question, A and B are sides of, can anybody read this? Who will read this? Maybe Pratiksha, can you read this? Pratiksha is there. Shivani, can you read this? Shivani Shanmugam.
Sir, Shreya.
Shreya Shanmugam, yeah, please.
A, B are sides of parallelogram whose sides are
Oh,
A,
no, whose area is A? I think one A is missing.
Okay.
Whose area is A?
whose area is A, comma B are sides of a rectangle whose area is B. Then the correct answer,
Is,
option
yeah.
A is equal to B. Option B, A is greater than B. Option C, B is lesser than A. D, none of these.
Option C, B is greater than A. Okay, no problem. They say there is a parallelogram and there is a rectangle. the parallelogram, both the sides, in a parallelogram you have length and breadth. So that is one, length is A and breadth is B. And in this thing, what is that? In a rectangle, the length is A, breadth is B. What is the area of rectangle? What is the formula, area of rectangle?
L into B,
L
sir.
into B. So in this case, A into B. They did not give L and B, they gave A and B. So area of rectangle is A and B, that is length into breadth. And area of parallelogram, how do you calculate the area of parallelogram?
B into H, sir.
B into H. So now A into H, that L into H actually. So here A are same for both parallelogram and this one. This H for parallelogram, will it be bigger than B or smaller than B? Okay, let me show you a diagram. Are you able to see the diagram? See, this is a rectangle.
Yes, sir.
This is rectangle where one side is A, another side is B. Neelam, agalam, length and breadth. Then the parallelogram is this. You have one side A, another side, the slanting side is B. But when you want to find the area of parallelogram, you will be splitting the parallelogram into two different triangles by connecting those two corners. So, and you will be calculating the area of a area of the triangle, and then you will multiply that. So the area of triangle is here half into BH, that is half into A into that height. Height is H. I have written as B1, but that B1 will be smaller than B. So obviously the area of parallelogram is smaller than the area of rectangle. So what is the answer for this question? Let's see. So what is the answer for this question? Area of rectangle is more than the area of parallelogram. So what is the answer?
A is greater
Option
than
C,
B,
sir.
C. Yeah, option C, B is greater than A is the correct answer, because the area of rectangle for the given two sides are always bigger than the area of a parallelogram. So similarly, when you grow up, Anirudh is there. Who else is there? Every time I should not call Anirudh, no? Who are the boys are there? Arshida, Varsha, Arshini, Satish. Satish is there. Santosh. Let us say Santosh. Santosh, are you there?
Sir,
When you grow up and you are having a very big job and you are getting lots of money as a salary, and you wanted to buy a plot for building a house. You know plot? House site? Have you heard of this? It is a land for building your house. You will buy a small piece of land for you. Will you buy a site which has got a parallelogram shape, or will you buy a rectangle shape? It is better to buy a rectangle shape.
Sir, parallelogram shape.
Why parallelogram? You have to buy a rectangle shape because for the given length and breadth, that has got more area than the parallelogram. You understood? You need for the given area A and B, given sides A and B, the area of rectangle is more than the parallelogram. And not only that, so the area is here bigger. But if the seller is very clever, he will say, sir, Neela 60 sir, Agala 40 sir, he will say, he will not say what is the shape. Suppose he shows one plot where Neelam is 60 adi or 60 feet or 60 meter or whatever, and then Agalam, that is the breadth is 40, and if it is a rectangle, and another plot where he is showing 60 is the length and 40 is the breadth, but it is a parallelogram, then which one will have more area? Rectangle will have more area, and you have to buy the rectangle so that you get benefited. You should not get cheated by somebody. No, but you should know all these things where it applies. Same thing happens between a square and a rhombus. Rhombus. Have you heard of rhombus?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is a square. Slanted square is called rhombus. In Tamil, it is very nicely said, Saduram, Sai Saduram. So Tamil, Sai means Sanjirkir. So they say Saduram and Sai Saduram. The Saduram will have more area for a given sites compared to rhombus. So if your broker goes and shows you a rhombus kind of a plot, you should insist him to show a square plot instead of a rhombus plot, so that you get more area in this one. No, this is application of your knowledge for your life. Right. The sixth question has come in your NTS. No, I don't know how many of you, anybody has gone through the Google and find out what are the NTSC papers or Olympiad papers? Anybody?
I have a book, sir.
You have a book, but you go into the Google, I mean, that NTSC, that website is their official website. There they given a sample paper. Okay. The sample paper contains the question number 6 here. And 6, 7, 8, these 3 questions are taken from their sample papers. But generally, the questions in your sample paper will be easier than the questions in the actual NTSC. So 6, 7, 8 are questions taken from the sample paper. 6th question and 5th question, you treat it as a homework. I am going to send this WhatsApp to you, this PPT to you. Treat this as a homework, and then we will discuss over WhatsApp or in the next class. Okay? Any doubts so far, whatever we have seen?
No, sir.
No doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. I think, and those 2 questions, confusing questions, what I will do, I will, Anirudh, I will put it in a piece of paper and then scan and send it to you. Okay? In the WhatsApp, so that you will get some clarity. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that we will do. Okay, all the best to all
Sir,
of.
which 2 questions?
That is we said that Suman and the 60%, that another slide, the first slide, this one, 2 and 3.
Okay, sir.
Some confusion was there, so and I skipped because I don't want to waste the time. I will do it and then send it. And usually what we do is I take a piece of paper and do the calculation, scan and send it in the WhatsApp, so that all of you will understand. Okay. We don't wait for the next class to come. It will happen maybe tomorrow or day after. Okay. Thank you so much. We will meet again in our next class.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right.
Thank you, sir.